Welcome to the Communicate Clearly podcast, where we believe connection is key, confusion is the enemy, and reflective listening is the best way to grow your communication skills. I'm your host, Jonathon Vogel, and today we're going to go over 5 ways that you can specifically grow your communication, communicate clearly, and then in turn, build your audience, build your following on social media. I struggle with some of these things, not struggle as in with these tips, but I find these are pet peeves of mine. These 5 things that people, for some reason, there's so many people that I observe and that I have dealt with that don't implement these simple, no-brainer 5 things that I'm about to share with you that makes them look like they're trolls or they're uneducated or that they're speaking from a place of emotional turmoil and heat, which is what you don't want to do when you're trying to communicate your opinion on social media. So to start it off, the first thing that I want to share with you guys that has helped me is to start with your text messages. I know this isn't social media, but if you can communicate clearly in your text messages, you can communicate clearly on social media. Text messages is often the most direct way that we can communicate with other people, and it's often the most used way we communicate with other people. Right? You probably have a list of contact people that you're talking with every day. You're texting, right? I don't actually have a phone number, so I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly what that feels like, but I have gotten text with iMessage and Facebook Messenger and Instagram Messenger and all these messenger apps, Google Hangouts, even WhatsApp. But the idea here is that clarity is key. You need to make sure you're clear and free of ambiguity. And if you don't know what that word means, or it's kind of shady of the meaning. Essentially, the way I'm interpreting it is as simply the way, like, ambiguity can be confusing. Like, you want to make sure your text message that you're sending out to the person you're talking to is clear, to the point, and is not confusing. If your text message could be taken the wrong way or be taken in a way that isn't quite exactly how you intended it to be, you need to rephrase it. The power of commas and periods is so undervalued these days. It's insane, the text messages that you can get that would mean something totally different by just inserting a comma in the right place or a period at the end of a sentence. I've gotten comments, I've gotten emails from my boss and my superiors that can sometimes be confusing. If you just take a few extra seconds just to go through it with some commas, some periods, and just reread your material, reread those text messages, use emojis. I'm all for emojis. Use them in the right context to convey the message you clearly want to send. Convey the emotion you want to send. Don't just throw it in there. It's like heart, heart, heart. It's like, yeah, but you're not clearly saying what you intended to, using that simple comma, that simple period, changing that word so it's more concise, right? Tip number 2 is all about posts specifically to other people's social profiles and timelines. Like Facebook has timelines. You can do direct messages to Instagram, Snapchat. You can kind of picture text each other and that kind of thing. The idea here is you need to be polished and professional. Now, need is a very strong word. If you want to grow your social media following, you want to present yourself in a way that markets yourself and sells yourself as a person in a professional and uplifting way so that people want to engage with you, right? If you're trying to grow your social media following, you need to present yourself in a way that's inviting and attractive and engaging and interesting, right? Key word there is interesting. If you're an interesting person, people want to follow you. But that goes with when you engage on other people's profiles, you need to be professional in the way you present yourself. I'm not saying using words that don't make sense, that are confusing, or lingo and jargon that doesn't make sense, but just simply use a comma where it needs to be placed. Use a period where it needs to be placed. Capitalize the first letter of your sentence. Use a happy face emoji when you're happy and to convey that emotion. It's okay to be casual and fun and lighthearted. I'm not saying remove that from your social media, but I'm saying just be professional, be polite. that kind of approach is going to be best at improving your social media. Now, let's take a stop here. You might be like, Jonathan, you're not a social media expert. Why the heck are you recommending all these tips and tricks and stuff? This is the stuff that's worked for me. And I am an expert on my opinion. Okay? So if you don't agree with me, that's okay. Let me know. Reach out to me on my social media. Use commas and periods and capitalization at the beginning of sentences. Use emojis and tell me why you think I'm wrong. Okay? It's a good practice for you. I would love to hear from you. But I am an expert on my opinion. And you need to make sure that you are presenting yourself in a way that's professional, polite. And that type of approach is going to be the best way to grow your social media following. It's simple. Like, I'm not talking about social media strategies. I'm talking about the basic communication that you send to people. It needs to be clear, polite, and professional. Now, the third thing I want to cover, this is the third tip, is posting on YouTube. I've gotten comments where people just spew their life story at me, or they'll send me a one-liner that's like, I hate your comment, I hate your YouTube video, it sucks, you're not uplifting. I've also gotten the comments where it's like they spew their whole life story in one long 500 word, well, not 500 word, I would say 100, 200 word paragraph in a YouTube comment. And it's so hard to read and it's confusing to understand because it didn't use commas, it didn't use periods. They probably used their auto voice command on their phone and they didn't correct it. They didn't spend some time editing it so I would clearly understand what they're trying to say. So frustrating, you know? I find it so interesting that people automatically write off other people on YouTube comments as a troll just by simply not using good language, using quick, angry, retortful comments that hurt, that are meant to harm the creator, when they don't consider the simple idea of maybe waiting until their emotions roll over, putting in a comma, putting in a period, putting in an emoji to describe their emotions, and then just acting as if they're an interested and engaged human. That goes worlds further to engage the creator on YouTube and actually get a response from them when you are professional and polite in your approach. So make sure to always be polite and professional in your approach. Use commas, periods, and emojis to clearly, professionally say what you need to say on YouTube. Suggest a tip, provide your opinion, but act as if you're an engaged listener and you want to help the creator become better. Like, I would really appreciate a comment from you on YouTube if it was like, Jonathan, I really appreciate you writing this video. I think there's a way you can improve, and I come from a background of having a situation where I can't communicate clearly, and I've used these ways to help me communicate, or something like that, just like saying, I want what's best for you. Here's where I think you're misguided. Let me help you as an interested and engaged subscriber. Yeah, I want you to subscribe on YouTube. So if you haven't already, go do that. But as a subscriber of your YouTube channel, I want to help you. I'm interested and engaged, and here's some things that I could see you improve. Like, that is so valuable to me, and I want to hear the engagement as a creator, from my listeners and my followers and my subscribers. Like, that's what I do. That's why I do things, is because I want you guys to engage and I want you to receive value. So if you're not receiving value, I need to know that. I need to know what kind of value you want. And even with this podcast, if you guys feel like I'm doing something wrong, or I'm talking wrong, I want to know about it. That's why I've said over and over, reach out to me. I'm waiting to hear from you because I want to know if I'm helping you in any way. I love your testimonials. Now, the fourth thing we're going to talk about is individual social posts. So we've talked about just starting with your text messages, getting really good at that, posting to other people's profiles and timelines. And we've also talked about posting to YouTube. But now let's talk about individual social posts. So I'm thinking Instagram, and there's a picture or a video that's posted and there's a string of comments. It goes without saying, and I've said it before in this podcast, just provide value. And here's the cool thing. If you provide value, with the intention of trying to build your audience. There's a quote by Michael Hyatt. I don't know if you've checked him out, michaelhyatt.com. It's worth to check out if you want to be productive, if you want to save time in your day and have a life plan. Great guy for that. But he had a quote I read many years ago on his blog. It's the idea of, and it's in his book Platform, I think. But anyway, if you as a creator, you need to post 20 things of value or something. I don't know the exact number, but it's the idea of 20 things of value and one ask. So the ratio of 20 things that are valuable to people to one ask for asking something from them. That's so valuable. And I'm not good at this. I keep asking and I should be giving more value. You guys are keeping me really good on that, really accountable. And I want to provide more value for you guys. I'm still trying to work on this, but the more value you bring to people on their posts, on other people's posts, say, hey guys, I really appreciate this post. Something that's really helped me, blah, 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 blah. And that could be for like a fitness post. Somebody's like, hey guys, here's my challenge for the day. I just did 100 push-ups, working strong, working hard, and you're like, you know what? That's awesome. I'm really liking this challenge, blah, 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 blah. You just provide value, something interesting, put an interesting comment out there. Again, use those commas, those periods, those capitalization, grammar, make your words concise, use emojis. That's going to go so far in providing value to people. And they're going to be like, oh, that's an interesting comment. I wonder who that is. Click. Before you know it, they're looking at your profile, engaging with you on your profile. And that's what you want. You see what I'm getting at here? And this is number 5, is just be clear in everything. You need to be clear in everything. It's the fastest way to gain traction on social media and in life. But you need to just be clear in your message and the communication. Everything you communicate, the more clear you are, the better many other people are going to understand you and learn your unique approach on life and your message and what you're passionate about. And they're going to find you as an interesting person because they understand you. When people understand you, when they understand what you're trying to communicate, you're interesting because you are communicating your message way more clearly than everyone else is. You'll be ahead of the game. So this is a wrap for this podcast. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube. Go to the YouTube search bar, ComTV, and let me know what you think there. Subscribe, turn the notification bell on. You get the gist. And make sure to stay connected. Subscribe via RSS feed. And you can also check out my Linktree link in this podcast bio to see all of my links and stuff. It's all there for you. I have a free guide for you, PDF guide. Go check it out to help you communicate clearly any conversation. You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much for listening, and I will engage with you in the next podcast. Take care. You're awesome.